1, she shouldn't even be here, my mother-in-law said, pushing her plate away like my daughter was something dirty. My 8-year-old froze beside me, her tiny hand gripping mine. She was a mistake. Everyone knows it. The room went silent, thick and suffocating, until a man stood up behind us and said, "That's not what the records say." My name is Nicole Hayes. I'm 34 years old. And for years, I was the kind of woman who kept the peace, even when it meant breaking myself to do it. I work as a pediatric nurse. Every day I walk into rooms where fear sits heavier than air. Machines beep, parents whisper. Children fight battles they never chose. I've learned how to stay steady in chaos. I've learned how to speak gently when the truth is hard. I've learned how to be strong for people who need it. But at home, I wasn't strong. At home, I stayed quiet. Because silence felt easier than conflict. Because I thought keeping peace meant keeping my family together. I was wrong. When I married my husband, I thought I was stepping into a life that was secure. His family had everything: money, status, control. Their home felt perfect, like nothing was ever out of place. Except me. I didn't belong in their world. And eventually, neither did my daughter. She was born during the hardest night of my life. I was alone, terrified. The room smelled like cold metal and disinfectant, and the sound of my own heartbeat felt louder than anything else. I remember gripping the sheets, thinking I might not make it. And in that moment, I made a decision no mother ever wants to make. Not because I didn't want her, but because I loved her too much to risk leaving her unprotected. But no one in that house knew that. Not even my husband. All they knew was a version of the story that made them feel superior. And they held on to it. At first, the comments were small. "She's very quiet. She doesn't look like the rest of the family. Are you sure everything is normal?" Always soft, always deniable. But over time, those words got sharper. More direct. More cruel. And I told myself to ignore it. I told myself I was protecting her. But the truth, I was teaching her to accept disrespect. I remember one night, she asked me, "Mom, why don't they smile at me like they do at other kids?" I didn't have an answer. So I lied. "They just don't know you yet." But deep down, I knew. They didn't want to. That dinner felt different from the start. Too quiet. Too controlled. The kind of quiet that feels like something is about to break. My daughter stayed close to me, her hand wrapped tightly around mine. "Sit properly," my mother-in-law said before we even reached the table. "We just got here," I replied. She smiled, tight, sharp. "Exactly." Dinner began. "So, Nicole," my sister-in-law said, swirling her glass, "still choosing work over your child?" "I don't choose one over the other," I said. She replied. "That sound. Always that sound." My daughter sat quietly, trying not to make noise. "She's very quiet," my mother-in-law said. "She's thoughtful," I corrected. "Or just different," my sister-in-law added. My chest tightened. "She's perfect," I said. They looked at each other. And then, "She shouldn't even be here." My mother-in-law's voice cut through the room. I froze. She was a mistake. Everyone knows it. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. My daughter's hand started shaking in mine. I could feel it. Every tremble. Every breath she was trying to hold back. No one spoke. Not my father-in-law. Not my sister-in-law. Not even my husband. I turned to him. Waiting. Begging without saying a word. He didn't look at me. He didn't say anything. That silence. That was the moment something inside me changed. "Mom," my daughter whispered, her voice breaking. "Am I really a mistake?" Time stopped. That question didn't just hurt. It destroyed something. Years of silence, years of swallowing pain. All of it came crashing down in that one moment. I opened my mouth. ready to speak, ready to finally stop this. But then, a chair scraped. A voice behind us. That's not what the records say. We turned. A man stood there, holding a file. Calm, unshaken, certain. And just like that, the power in the room shifted. I followed him into the hallway, my heart pounding in my chest. What is this? I asked. My husband sighed behind me. Nicole, don't start. I turned sharply. Don't start. Did you hear what your mother said? She didn't mean it like that. How did she mean it? Silence. Again. I've been quiet for 8 years, I said, my voice steady now. Not tonight. The man stepped forward. I'm Dr. Ethan Cole. We walked back inside. Every eye turned toward us. The room felt smaller now. Tighter. A lie has been living in this house for 8 years, he said. No one laughed this time. No one interrupted. He opened the file slowly. These are hospital records from the night your granddaughter was born. My mother-in-law scoffed. This is unnecessary. No, he said, this is overdue. He looked at me. I nodded. And then the truth came out. The complications. The risk. The moment everything could have gone wrong. I was alone, I said, and I thought I might not survive. My husband's head snapped toward me. What? I signed a temporary guardianship form, I continued, only in case something happened to me. Gasps filled the room. It was never permanent, Dr. Cole added. It was canceled before it was ever used. Silence. But this time, it wasn't comfortable. It was heavy. Sharp. Unavoidable. That story you've been repeating, I said, looking directly at my mother-in-law. It was never true. She didn't respond. For the first time. She had nothing to say. My husband grabbed the paper, his hands shaking. You almost died, he asked. I called you, I said. His face changed. Not anger. Not denial. Regret. Deep, quiet regret. But it was too late. I knelt in front of my daughter. You are not a mistake, I said, holding her face gently. You are the reason I fought to stay alive. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Really? Always. I stood up. Slowly. Calmly. And this time, I didn't hesitate. I'm done. 2 words. But they carried 8 years of silence breaking all at once. We walked toward the door. No one stopped us. No one could. Outside, the air felt different. Lighter. Like I could finally breathe. Footsteps behind us. I didn't know, my husband said. I turned. You didn't want to know. I can fix this, he said quickly. No, I replied. You can't fix silence. His voice broke. Then what happens now? I looked at my daughter. Then back at him. I choose her. Silence. Final this time. We got into the car. And as I drove away, I didn't look back. Because I wasn't leaving something behind. I was taking something back. My voice. My strength. My daughter's worth. The drive home was quiet. But for the first time, it felt safe. Mom, she whispered. Yes. I'm not a mistake, right? I looked at her. And smiled. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. She leaned back peaceful. At home, I tucked her into bed. Mom. Yes. Thank you for saying something. That hit deeper than anything else that night. I brushed her hair back gently. You deserved it a long time ago. When I turned off the light, I stood there for a moment. Listening. Not to fear. Not to doubt. But to peace. Real peace. The kind that comes when you finally stop accepting what hurts you. People think strength is loud. that it comes with shouting and big moments. But real strength, it's quiet. It's the moment you stop staying silent. It's the moment you choose what matters, even if it costs you everything. They called my daughter a mistake, but they were wrong. The only mistake I ever made was staying silent for too long. And I won't make that mistake again.